Okay, hello and welcome. Welcome to GPS Manipur. We are discussing chapter number 11, chapter called Light. Okay, we're discussing this chapter. In this chapter, the first thing that we need to understand is okay, we see objects around us. We see objects around us. What are the objects that you see around us? So, sir, yes, we have seen many things around us. Example, what are the objects we see around us? Objects we see around us are like we see, sir, one, we see table. Okay, sir, another thing we see pen. Okay, what are the things we see? We see car also, sir. In the road, car is going like anything, sir. What else we see? We see road. Sir, what else we see? We see human being. So what else we see? We see sun. What else we see, sir? We see insects. Sir, what do we see? We see, uh, sir, light also. The torch light. Okay, let me just write down. We see bulb or uh, we say lamp. Let's say. Sir, what else we see? We see, sir, fire also we see. Okay, so we see many objects around us. Okay, now the first thing is we see things around us. Another thing is how do we see this? Good question, right? How do we see all this object? How do you see the table? How do you see the pen? Now you are looking into the screen. How do you see my notes in the in your phone screen? Okay, so we see this. Okay, we see the objects around us. That's clear, right? How do we see? We see because of light. Okay, how do we see objects? We see all these objects because of light. Okay, before understanding, we need to understand there are this all these things I can write down as objects can be classified. These objects are of two types. Okay, these objects are of two types. One type is called luminous object and another is called non-luminous object. Whatever the things we see around us, it can be classified into two types. One is luminous, another is non-luminous object. What are luminous objects? Objects that have lights of their own. Light of their own. Those objects that have light of their own are called luminous object. Sir, example is sun, fire, electric bulb that has light, right? So all these are example luminous object. Luminous object is are those objects which have light of their own. Okay. Non-luminous object is they don't have light of their own. They do not have light of their own. Right? Like book, like glass, or I can say glass of water, like chair, even earth. All these things they don't have light of their own, right? How here classify all this? Table is luminous object or non-luminous object? Non-luminous object. Pen have light of their own? No, right? So non-luminous object. Car, non-luminous object. Road, non-luminous object. Human being, non-luminous object. Sun have light of their own? Yes, luminous object. Insects, non-luminous. There is one insect which has light of its own. What is that? You know firefly, right? You know firefly? This insect, night time we see firefly, right? Which have light of their own. Except these other are non-luminous. Lamp, it has light of this own, luminous. Fire, luminous. Are you getting the point? Okay, so you know what is luminous object and non-luminous object. Now let me explain you how do you see this kind of object. Okay, the question is same, how do you see the object, or how do we see luminous and non-luminous object? Question is same. Okay, answer also will be similar. Got the point? So let me try answering this. How do we see luminous object? Let me take a little bit different color. Let's say yellow. Okay, yeah. So how do we see luminous object? We see luminous object. We see luminous object. We see luminous object with the help of with the help of light emitted by them. Are you getting the point? How do you see luminous object? How do you see the sun? We see the sun because sun is giving light, right? This light reaches our eye, right? And we see the sun. How do you see the fire? We see the fire because this fire will give some light, right? This light will reach our eye and we'll see the fire. Simple, right? We see luminous object with the help of light emitted by them. Next thing, how do we see the non-luminous object? We see non-luminous object how do we see non-luminous object? We see non-luminous object with the help of light falling on them. Okay, let me make things clear now. How do you see the table? How do you see this table? We see this table, or how do you see this chair? Okay, this is my chair here. So how do you see this chair? We see this chair because let's say there is bulb. Okay, there is bulb here. I'm very bad person, the person who can draw. Okay, there is bulb. How can you see this chair? This bulb will give some light, right? This light will hit the chair. This light will get reflected from the chair and will reach our eye, and our eye will see the light will reach our eye and we can see the chair. Are you getting the point? How do you see the chair? We see the chair after light get reflected from here. After the light from the bulb will reach the chair, it will get reflected and the reflected light will reach our eyes and we can see the chair. What will happen if light is not there? If light is not there, then we cannot see this chair. No light, we cannot see the chair. Are you getting the point? So in our answer, there are two kind of object. One is luminous, another is non-luminous. We see luminous object with the help of light emitted by them. And what about non-luminous object? How do you see the chair? We see the chair with the help of light falling on them. Are you getting the point? We see chair because light is falling on this and reaching our eyes. We see sun because direct from sun light reaches us. Are you understanding the difference? Light will fall here first and reach our eyes for non-luminous. For luminous, the light directly reach our eyes, direct from this object. From bulb, direct to our eyes. This is for luminous. What about non-luminous? First, let's say how do you see the book? We see the book because light will reach the book first, get reflected and reach our eyes, and we can see the book. Got the point? Got the point? That's all.